great to be back in London after about 3 years for me personally. And I thought I'd start with a little reflection about where we are, thinking about my own career. I spent about over 30 years in enterprise software, about 22 years now in just the application of process software, workflow software. And reflecting, maybe some of you feel the same way in that same career, that I think we chose one of the hardest careers you can have, because aside from trying to master the technology challenges of the ever-evolving landscape of the digital solutions, we also have the challenges of politics. Not talking about the politics down the Thames here in Parliament and Downing Street, but the politics of orchestrating people to deliver solutions for your business and in processes. That's a difficult challenge, thinking about how we align resources across multiple departments, get them all working together, and drive them in a direction that delivers value for our customers and our citizens. So in this example, we see customer onboarding, customer service, GRC, many operations that we maybe run ourselves. And where we've been over the past 3-4 years is, I think, trying to remove people from our processes, looking at, I'm not sure if anyone's adopted robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, IDP, systems integrations. We've been trying to look at these task automations, really, trying to create more efficiency across our business processes by eliminating people. But what we think about, though, is how we've really been solving our process challenges, getting that alignment, getting back to defining those processes and making sure we have total control of those. Oftentimes, your processes still look like this. Even though we've mapped it out, maybe internally, it looks like a maze of navigation. Maybe you're still relying on spreadsheets and email to really drive most of your workflows. And it's that institutional knowledge to know exactly what to do next that's not really quite clearly laid out inside the systems. So if you think that's bad, thinking about also from your customer perspective, if you know the different operators in your business, you know that it needs to go to John Doe on Tuesday and then Jane Hill on Thursday and the routing that required. But does your customer know this? Does your customer know the processes that support your business? And oftentimes, the frustrations that they feel is really reflected by the lack of effective coordination and understanding of our own business processes. So thinking about that challenge is where we think in Appian, as part of product management and guiding our product, is how can we make that simple for you? How can we deliver a product that allows you to master the technology side and also express and manage processes effectively? What we can't solve maybe is the politics. You still have to work on that yourselves by having effective, agile, and business alignment and communicating effectively internally, but at least we can solve the technology challenge. And when we think about that technology challenge, it really starts with not thinking about process. We think the best way to really solve many of your challenges is to start with data, to think about how we can align your processes on data. I talk to a lot of customers around who might be starting off their initial implementation of Appian. The first thing I say is, don't think about your processes first. Think about your data, because processes should exist as an ethereal layer on your data. And you're only going to be able to drive smart decisions if you have effective control of the data architecture and alignment of data that your processes can sit on top of. And we have a vision of allowing you to take that data and take those processes and go through a continuous improvement lifecycle, allowing you to easily design by reducing the technology challenges to a low-code design paradigm, incorporating all the automation technologies which allow you to increase the efficiency of those business processes, and finally, allowing you to get the insights about how your processes actually work to drive continuous optimization inside the system. We support this by a number of critical capabilities of the Appian product. We'll be talking about these in order in today's session. And the first topic, of course, is that data fabric. The data fabric you've probably heard a lot about today in the conference. It's the innovation that Appian's been working on to make sure you can align your enterprise data across all your systems into a single holistic data model that you can then start to drive your processes on top of. As well as process automation, we'll be talking about total experience and extending user experiences, not to just be employee experiences in the Appian product, but have a total experience that goes from your customers to your employees in a seamless operation. And finally, we'll talk about process mining, Appian's latest investments to drive continuous innovation and optimization to your business process designs. all founded on a low-code platform that's trying to make it easy to build and deliver solutions, unified so you can reuse assets quickly to accelerate development, and enterprise-grade to satisfy the needs of the global 2000s that we have here today, and is often our Appian customer base. So to kick this off, I'd like to jump into the first topic by inviting Annalise Dabrowski, a Senior Director of Product Management for Appian, on the data fabric architecture for Appian. Annalise?
Thank you, Malcolm. And good morning.
Hello.
Data fabric is a data architecture approach for unifying data silos to support building modern applications. Gartner defines data fabric as enabling frictionless access and sharing of data in a distributed environment. It creates a seamless data management system that's overlaid on what would otherwise be siloed data. This might sound like other types of data consolidation you might have seen in the past, like data lakes and data warehouse, but those systems were designed for historical analysis of your data silos from a single location. Data fabric, on the other hand, is designed to power the real-time living applications that your employees and partners are working in every day, where you unify data from multiple systems for both analytical and transactional workloads. We built Appian's data fabric specifically with the goal of accelerating the development of these powerful applications from your distributed data. And it's up to 10 times faster using our low-code design methodology. In addition, you'll find that you can reduce the use of complex API integrations by 20 to 60% through simply using queries directly to the data fabric rather than these complex and often slow APIs. And finally, by laying down a governed data model, we empower your other developers and citizen developers to leverage that data model to build new innovative solutions on the Appian platform. Now, those applications that your developers are building to drive greater business efficiency and visibility, it's what gives you a true 360-degree view of your data in a single application. Appian's data fabric is also ideal for unifying processes around case management constructs, and ultimately allow you to deliver better outcomes with greater visibility into your data, smarter decision-making, and a great customer and employee experience. So how does it work? Typically, when we start our engagements, you have a number of systems in place already. Things like an ERP, some self-managed legacy databases, or a CRM tool like maybe Salesforce. Our customers often start by building some type of case management system, say a service request management app. The app has many workflows that need data from these other systems, like parts, equipment, customer account details, etc. And you need to be able to interact with all of them to achieve the transformational results that you're looking for. With Appian, you connect to each of these data entities in these siloed systems and then establish links between their data with what we call relationships. And you end up with this comprehensive data fabric of your enterprise data. Now that you've established these connections and defined their metadata, we've created a virtualized data layer that you'll use throughout the entire Appian platform as if it's one single data model. This is really powerful because any one of your Appian developers can now use it to define advanced analytical queries across sources to drive your business processes. And just as we care about speed of development, we also care about performance. Maybe a little bit more. When you build applications on Appian's data fabric, your apps run faster. We auto-optimize your data structure based on how you design it. Since you're using our low-code design environment, we know your intent, and we can reshape it on the fly as you construct and make changes and alter the data fabric. Reporting across these data sets run up to 6 times faster. Searches by your end users on data that cuts across multiple systems are up to 4 times faster. Dense grids with multiple nested data sets and sorting on that data sets and paging are much faster as well. Speaking of optimizations, our latest 22.4 release includes performance improvements that you'll get automatically on upgrade without having to rework your app or your data fabric. Let's take a look at it in action in the Appian Designer. If you've seen some of our demos in the past, you would have seen that we usually start by connecting to your existing systems. But this time around, we'll start from scratch. Sometimes you don't have your database set up yet. And so we'll show you how to do that using our new data modeling experience. And we'll create a brand new entity from scratch to capture, let's say, incidents. We'll start in our service request app and create a new record object called incident. This will take us to the record type designer. Let's pick the from scratch option and opt in to our data sync capability, because that's how you join the data fabric. Next, we'll set up the fields that we want to collect, and we'll quickly add the suggested fields on the right. These are the common fields that pretty much every data model would need. Much fewer things to type. We'll also add a lookup field. This is from our new choice list option that we added in 22.4. Now, incidents need to reference service request information and customer contacts. So instead of adding this information to our brand new incident record at this point, let's just connect to them directly since we've already set up their data model. So we'll go ahead and add that. We'll pick them from the list of suggested records on this screen. The relationship fields that link them are pre-populated, so you really don't have much to do here. So these suggestions show up on the right because of the likely data sets that you'd be interested in. So we'll go back to review what we just set up. We have the fields on the left that we created, and the data model shows up visually on the right. Now, this data model can get quite large, so we've given it some more real estate in our latest release and open it up in a dialog window. And that's it. So we've created our brand new data from scratch. We've stitched it together into the data fabric with a few clicks. And with that, we've just enriched the existing network so other applications can now use your official governed data model, so long as you give them access, of course, using standard object security settings. This is the point at which you would ask, so what happens when data changes in these other systems? As customer account details, let's say, are updated directly in Salesforce, or parts get delayed, or new equipment installations get added, how soon will the data be reflected in Appian? Well, because we're connecting and not collecting, you can easily create an API endpoint in Appian, and you then simply need to set up a standard webhook in these other systems to call this API for every data change and keep the data fresh in Appian. We're quite excited about this feature as it expands the number of data sources that can participate in your data fabric. All right, so let's continue building out our incident process, shall we? We have the data model set up. So what we'd want to do now is to create some actions and user interfaces. Now, since the data model already has all that metadata associated with it, we can just use them to accelerate the creation of these other objects, such as this user interface here. This UI pulls in all the related data into one screen, a full 360 view of your business data. And we did this with our quick builders. Let's have a look. We'll attach some actions to our incident record, one that will create incidents, and we'll only take care of the create action for now. And click through this simple wizard steps. This is an example of our quick builders. We can make any tweaks we want here. And we'll open up the starter process model that was created. Simple for now, pretty simple for now. It just creates and inserts our incident record using our new Write Record Smart service. When Malcolm comes back, he'll give you a tour of our recent changes and show a more fully built out automation workflow. Some of you here might already detect and see that we've made quite some changes in the process modeler. All right, so we've set up the data model, we have actions. Let's go ahead and configure data security. Data-driven security is an essential and common aspect of app development. And yet, it's always a challenging step because the data that you need is usually spread out in multiple different systems. With Appian's data fabric, since we've already connected these systems into a single data model, we can set up dynamic security rules simply by traversing it and hopping from one system to another just to secure one data point. We've streamlined this entire process, and it couldn't be easier. Let's show you what it looks like. So we'll go ahead and add a security rule and give the UK sales team access to see requests from customers whose billing address are in the UK. And as you can see here, we're seamlessly jumping between our relational database and Salesforce data in this navigational and hierarchical menu. And we'll go ahead and test it out right here to make sure that I can see my requests, but that Malcolm does not, since he's not in the UK team. It's common to have many security rules, and you'll be adding them from right here in this interface. Role and data-driven security is one of our favorite ways to showcase the power of our data fabric as it solves a critical business process and data challenge. And there you have it. I'm really looking forward to connecting with all of you today. Please come over and show us your data fabric. We have a lot of product experts here who would love to see it. Come share your story for how it's driving your process automation, transforming your user interfaces or experiences, or delivering operational insights. And with that, I'll pass it on to Malcolm to talk about process automation.
Let's evolve the conversation now that we've laid down our data fabric to explore some of the latest features around process automation with Appian. Our vision is to take you beyond task automation, to align your resources from your people, robotic processes, artificial intelligence, and systems in holistic managed workflows from end-to-end process automation. Now, we're happy to show this in the latest, what Annalise just previewed a little bit, is the latest Appian Process Mining with Appian 22.4. You'll see that we've updated the styling, and for those of you who practice Appian or building on Appian every single day, you'll notice that there's some nice improvements here, such as the font control and palette is up on the top hand toolbar, some updated icons and styling inside the interface to make it more efficient and beautiful for you to use as a daily user. Building on top of this, of course, though, we also have that search bar and suggested AI capabilities to recommend and quickly find the actions you want to orchestrate inside the Appian platform. And more importantly, in previous releases this year, we made it simple to find other reusable objects, such as your integrations, sub-processes, and user interfaces. To quickly search here, like finding a DocuSign integration, quickly find that DocuSign integration, dragging and dropping it, and now instantly having it integrated to DocuSign with that quick, swift action. So making it very intuitive, very fast to rapidly build and orchestrate your end-to-end process automations in the updated Appian Process Mining with Appian 22.4. Let's drill into those individual tasks. Appian's made a lot of investments over the past years to focus on improving task automation capabilities on those individual nodes. How can we add robotic process automation, intelligent document processing using artificial intelligence, and API integrations in each of those seamless workflow steps? One of our largest investments has been that first area of RPA. where we focus over the past year delivering a low-code RPA experience, allowing your citizen developers and end users to quickly build robotic process automations. Not only is this a new design experience that easily lays out the steps of an RPA process, you can easily traverse, just like the Appian Process Mining and Interface Designer, all the design objects on the left-hand side, and have easy configuration screens on the right-hand side to configure each individual step. But to make this even faster, we also introduce, of course, the RPA recorder capabilities. You don't actually need to lay it out at all. You'll simply record the actions inside the system. But instead of seeing these short screenshots, let's actually go through a full build out where we start the recorder, select here my Mac computer to actually start a recording on. Of course, Appian RPA operates on Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems. And as I initiate this robotic process automation, it quickly launches my target website to search Gov UK contracts. And on my right-hand side, I can see the recorder screen recording all the interactions. As we continue, I need to clear out these little cookie things. And as you can see, that will pop up every single time I need to interact. And now as I click through the entire screen, I get beautiful highlighting showing exactly which object it's recognizing. And as I click and take action inside that UI, you see all the recordings record seamlessly in the Appian RPA recorder on that sidebar agent. In addition, as I need to do more complex things like retrieve attributes and information from the screen, like the number of search results, I can quickly just simply right-click on that object, get the attribute, identify the exact language I need to extract that from, like the CSS selector or XPath, and then save that into an Appian process variable so I can now cache that for later use. In addition, I also want to retrieve maybe the individual items of all the contracts. So here I search gov.uk to search for all process software contracts in the UK government. And now I want to store all those tenders so I can maybe robotically automate the capture of all these active tenders, notifying people in my corporation of active opportunities in the government. So a great way to automate repetitive tasks, do this in a completely automated fashion without having an API, and then save all the information inside the Appian system using the process variables designer here. Finally, let's hit done. And now we'll save this as a new group structure. So I simply clicked around my interface, define that as a new robotic process, close the recorder, and now it takes me right back to the robotic process automation design experience. So here I see clearly laid out all the steps I just recorded. Didn't have to do any type of advanced coding, any type of complexity. It laid it out seamlessly, and now I can go ahead and add more complex controls. Like, of course, I want to get the number of items, and I want to loop over each one of the items. So here I'll choose that loop control, and then automatically iterate over each of the items returned in that government contracts website. So just like that, I have a completed robotic process automation. I can save this, incorporate it in my larger end-to-end process automation flows, and automate and remove that human repetitive task. No one needs to check the website manually. It'll be completely automated behind the scenes. Now, we also complement this capability with Appian's intelligent document processing capabilities. We rolled this out last year with native AI extraction in the Appian product. But what we deliver here is both classification and extraction automation. What this means is you can feed it documents like claims, invoices, purchase orders, receipts, and we can first identify exactly what type of document we're working with. Again, eliminating a need for human operators to manually look at documents and then determine what was sent to them via email or other types of inbox, and then automatically route that to the appropriate area. Once I receive the document and classify it, we can then extract the content from it. So looking at all the fields and all the information, mapping that content to a structured data fabric, and inserting the data directly into the data fabric that Annalise covered earlier. Now, of course, we also base this on artificial intelligence using continuous learning and machine learning. So as the AI is not confident, it'll automatically send it back to the human operator to retrain and improve the artificial intelligence. So it truly is an AI-based model system that as you correct the AI, it gets smarter and smarter and smarter with each additional classification and extraction. And of course, all of our customers receive up to 20,000 pages per month sending it through this process. So if you're not using it today, encourage you to check us out at the Community Hub or our sessions at a conference to learn more about the IDP capabilities. And IDP does include things like advanced capabilities to identify adjoined tables, multiple lines in tables, so many of those complexities you have in these documents, as well as even handwriting recognition natively built inside the system to recognize handwritten documents, extract the content from handwriting, and mapping it over to the digital data structure on the left-hand side there. Of course, the goal here is to deliver that end-to-end process automation. Again, allowing you to map it out, identify all those areas. But one area I haven't really touched yet is that human operator. How can we involve better the humans and deliver to them the experiences they deserve in building those beautiful UIs? So transition a little bit to talk about our total experience investments, how we deliver end-to-end experiences from our customers to employees. We have a promise to deliver to you as our customers a platform that gives you the speed and flexibility to deliver those beautiful interfaces that represent your brand. And also we have promised to have you write once and run anywhere, having a true multi-experience platform that allows you to, in one design experience, build for the modern web browsers and for native Android and iOS applications. And also deliver an enterprise-grade environment, which is automatically hardened against things like the OWASP top 10 for security, cross-site scripting attacks, database injection attacks, making sure when you publish these interfaces, they're secure and reliable and scalable. To that effect, we do this inside the Appian Interface Designer, represented here on the left-hand side. A drag and drop experience that you can see looks very similar to things like the RPA Designer, have a consistent, unified design experience between all the different IDEs. This allows you to quickly lay out those experiences and then instantly render those on iPads, iPhones, or Android devices, as well as giving you design experience or design guidance on our new website called design.appian.com. Design.appian.com is a public website anyone can join and check out. It gives you inspiration, guidance, best practices for building your next project on the Appian Interface Design experience. So it's a great way to start if you're looking for great starting points. Check it out. Again, a free website to simply download examples and then load those in your own environment as a starting point for your next interface designs. But the new thing with Appian in 2022 is our new initiative called Appian Portals. And this takes those interfaces you've been building in the low-code design experience, extends them to the public B2C consumers for anonymous users with elastic scale and isolated microservice architecture. So what this looks like is an example for one in the United States, for the American Association of Retired People. This is a large organization that represents people in the 50 and above category, and of course allows them to deliver services to them like fraud protection against those scammers we see oftentimes calling our phone numbers or emailing us. Now what we see in this example with AARP is a beautiful representation of the AARP brand. With the interface design controls 100% built inside the Appian Interface Designer, you get those large emotive images, free-form styling, and making sure that you can represent your brand effectively inside the Appian Interface Design capabilities. But as well, this is deployed as a public portal, which means that any anonymous user can interact with this. They can log in, subscribe, or sign up for this fraud victim support volunteer, and of course, register using a dynamic business application built inside the Appian Interface Designer. This is run as an isolated microservice, so they can scale this to whatever need they require to support large volume of customers coming into the environment. And it can directly interact with the Appian platform. So if you need to register information, kick off processes, it directly correlates to that. But let's see this in action. We're very proud to announce that we've upgraded the Appian Portals design experience in 22.4 with an integrated development environment. As I kick this off, I can see I can create a new portal right here from the Appian Explore view, defining a new insurance application form. From here, we see the new Appian Portal design experience for Appian 22.4, which allows me to easily see all the low-code configurations for configuring this portal. Now, the first thing, of course, is I want to build an interface for this, so I can do a forward flow action right from the portal designer to create that interface, calling it an insurance application. As I launch the interface designer, you'll see when you launch the Interface Designer, there's a great portal example right there in the templates to check out for yourself. This is an insurance application example, which allows you to get a quote for insurance using a public portal. As I go ahead and save this, I'm going to maybe preview this on a mobile device before saving. Maybe I want to check out the mobile rendering of this before I decide that this is the right for me. And we'll go ahead and hit the Save button to save that, and now go back to my portal design experience to then publish this. So I hit Save. Now you saw that I did this as a mobile rendering, So one option we have at the bottom is to also render those mobile experiences as what we call progressive web applications. Progressive web applications allow you to publish a web application like this portal as a native style experience. So it's going to emulate looking like a native mobile phone app when a user navigates this website on the mobile phone device. Now that that's configured, just one click, I'm going to go ahead and publish that, save my changes, and then we'll go ahead and click on the link to the published portal. And there is our public portal ready for our business consumers to start navigating and using and integrating to Appian with. So again, from that B2C to the B2B, B2E experience, all in one action. And more about the PWA experience, if I take a look at this inside that portal example, I can simply go to add the home screen as an end user, and now it's going to give me that native icon, just like it was a native app on my mobile device. This is still a web app, but it's going to act like it's a native application, removing the URL bar and giving an icon on the home screen so they can easily navigate to your application right from the mobile device. So great addition to kind of round out that great user experiences, tying into the Appian process automation and using the data fabric for both your consumer and employee experiences. Now to close this out, I'd like to invite Karina Bush-Zievaka to cover process mining. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Karina Busch-Sieweke from Germany. Let's talk a bit about process mining. If you had to guess, what do you think, how high is the damage of inefficiency to our global economy? Taken together, our inefficiencies across industries add up to a value of 15 trillion US dollars globally, and that is due to a lack of transparency in our processes. Inefficiency costs money, wastes time, diminishes work quality, and increases risk. In the manufacturing industry, equipment failure leads to 1 trillion US dollars in losses every year, while in the health sector, 35% of inefficiencies can be counted, translating to 2.5 trillion US dollars wasted every year. So, inefficiency is a strategic risk. From a business perspective, securing long-term competitive advantage, but also in the light of an economy that is changing towards a more sustainable value creation, where regulation and consumer expectations increasingly demand a dedication to eliminate waste wherever possible. Of course, no business is immune from inefficiencies, as our economic systems are complex, and spotting the root causes is rather difficult. And that's why every business should be assessing their processes on a regular basis with process mining, which enables them to understand where improvement potential is hidden based on event logs from IT systems. Whether it's about tackling quality changes in case management by analyzing defective requests, assessing approval workflows for their effectiveness, or general performance analysis to uncover potential in reducing cycle times. Process mining can generate very specific insights to be used for process improvement. And Appian Process Mining, embedded in the larger automation platform, not only offers these insights, but then enables you to directly act on them. A reduction of missing information and increased standardization of case flows can be achieved by digital data collection with Appian portals, as we just saw. Appian workflows can be newly built or flexibly adapted based on new findings of the process analysis. And solutions like business rules or RPA can help to reduce manual work and thereby minimize errors in processes as well as their cycle times. And that's how the Appian Platform for Change is offering the shortest path from insight to action by designing, automating, and continuously optimizing processes all in one suite. And taking the shortest path really makes a difference, which I would like to give you an example for with a short excursion back in time. A couple of 100 years ago, finding the shortest path was a major success factor in the shipping industry. Trades of goods back then relied on sailing boats going 24/7 on long routes between India, China, Europe, and America, and often it was unclear how long that would actually take. Thus, working on these ships was a pretty tough job. Until one day, Matthew Maury, who has been a sailor himself, became the director of the US Naval Observatory and with that got access to an extensive archive of logbooks. In the following years, Maury studied thousands of ship's logs and charts and basically performed a very early data analysis that would revolutionize the shipping industry when he published the first map of the currents of the North Atlantic in 1847, all based on the log data on the actual routes that ships had been taking. Now, the sailing routes that were taken could be dramatically improved. The shortest path here mattered in several ways. On the one hand, the shortened passages led to a decrease in general shipping costs, as each day that the goods were on sea was tied to additional costs, obviously. On the other hand, it shows how efficiency and timing is a success factor for competitive advantage. The ship that was able to land the first cargo of new tea harvest from China in England could realize a price premium for those. And in the same manner, we can make use of process mining today by turning log data from IT systems into process maps to discover the shortest path to success. So, process mining is about visualizing and analyzing data from your IT systems, basically your digital footprints, in order to understand how processes are actually being executed. So, process mining is based on these event logs. We need a case ID to follow a case through the process. We need activities, and we need at least one timestamp for those. What makes the analysis even more insightful is adding master data as attributes such as location, product category, or a cost that is connected to a certain case. Event logs are usually not generated in your IT systems automatically, which is why we have developed Mining Prep to help you transform your process data in a very easy way with low-code. Mining Prep connects to your IT systems and enables process owners without in-depth technical knowledge to perform data transformations by using pre-configured transformation actions. This is especially relevant for performing end-to-end analysis of a process that is executed maybe in a different system and Appian together. Appian itself makes process data for mining very easily available to you, as Mining Prep now also allows to directly mine Appian records, making use of our unique data fabric design and really enabling you to get insights from your data quickly. So let's take a look at how this works in detail. Once the data is loaded into Appian Process Mining, we see a visualization of the process with all its execution variants. You can now start to investigate your process starting from a reduced view of only a selected process variance to the full complexity of your actual process execution. Well, that usually doesn't help too much. So let's see how we can actually get more control for this process model. Based on this model, Appian Process Mining can now generate a BPMN model from that. So automatically, you can generate a process model that is then matched with the as-is data, or you can choose to upload a process model in order to then really spot all the deviations, like skipped steps, rework, or the steps that are being executed too many times. So based on this, we can now also do an automated root cause analysis. Here we can choose a certain deviation, and now a machine learning algorithm is going through the process, through all these attributes in your process in order to identify reasons why a certain process actually has these issues. And with that, you really have a fact basis for your decision making about improvement measures. Also, dashboards allow you to look at your KPIs automatically, basically automated reporting for your most relevant business measures. You can see here it's also very easy to create these dashboards in a low-code manner with drag and drop. So that's really an easy way to get insights into your process data. Then you can go through a brand new process management hub to look at the process scorecards that enable you to really see how different processes are performing in one view. So this way you really know immediately where you need to take action. And the soon-to-come savings scorecard will also enable you to monitor how the new process that you're performing in Appian based on new automations that you choose to build is performing against the process you had before. And thereby, you can automatically see what kind of return on investment is generated with that. So process mining really helps you in all the different use cases that you need for your continuous improvement journey. You can look at process performance when you discover process inefficiencies and bottlenecks. You can be sure to have a compliant process, as you can automatically match your target models to the data and see all the deviations in one spot. And last but not least, you really can optimize by continuously monitoring your data and getting relevant insights from that. So, processes are at the core of enabling systemic change. Right? Change is something we kind of all think about a lot these days, I guess, as many of us are really anticipating changes economically, socially, that we might not all have expected. So basically, we need to put continuous process improvement at the basis of our strategy. And change starts with using data. Just as we saw how we got from data to digital process maps, from digital process maps to intelligent automation. Last year I joined a sailing boat, a tour from Mallorca to Tenerife, and I was experiencing also, what kind of tough job it can be, but also how technology is kind of helping us to really get a better experience there today. We have a lot of sensors that are measuring the depth of the ocean, the speed of the currents, and the direction of the wind. And based on that, a sailing ship today is able to automatically set the sails to bring you to the destination that you have set on autopilot. And with that, we can really ensure to continuously improving customer operations and customer experience based on the digitization of our processes, using the data for that, and then continuously improving that. So, there's the saying, the only constant in life is change. So I guess we can all agree on that. And so let's embrace it and better drive change. And this is exactly what we enable you to do with the change engine that we are building at Appian. With that, back to Malcolm.
Thank you, Karina, and thanks everyone also for attending Appian Europe. We're so excited also to share with you the vision of the product of design, automate, and optimize, built on a single unified platform to deliver maximum efficiency. That we try to make the technology easy. Pronouncing Karina's last name, still a challenge for me, managing the people an issue. But if you'd like to learn more, of course, we'd like to invite you to the Community Hub and to the Solution Showcase area to learn more about these product capabilities. And of course, we have lots of great track sessions planned with our product managers and product experts all afternoon. So thank you so much for joining us and look forward to seeing you at the rest of the conference.